my name is Mena from The Foolish Couple. We're now into mid-March and right around 10 weeks into the new year. So let me ask you this. Did you set a New Year's resolution? And if you did, how's that working out for you? Or if you didn't, why not? Now, some people never set any New Year's resolution, and that's fine. I personally set goals anytime during the year, so it doesn't necessarily have to be during New Year. But if your reason for not setting resolution is because you always get disappointed at yourself because you never meet your goals, then maybe it's time to ask yourself, why? Why do you always fail at getting your New Year's resolutions? Why do you keep disappointing yourself? But even if you keep failing at your goals, don't beat yourself up yet. The truth is, about 90% of all people suck at their New Year's resolutions. And it doesn't matter whether your goal is about your health, your finances, your relationship, or whatever. Human nature is generally reluctant to change. And when you make a New Year's resolution, you're asking yourself to change. But deep down, you don't really want to go to the gym. That's why the parking lot at 24 Hour Fitness is empty again. You really just want to sit on the couch and watch TV rather than sweating your butt off at the gym. You really don't want to give up drinking because you really like how drinking makes you feel. Or you really don't want to give up smoking because, well, that's an addiction. Or maybe you really don't want to lose that 10 pounds because, well, you think you feel okay with those pounds in your body. My point is, don't feel too bad because you have failed yourself year after year. Just because what you're missing really is just this one thing. There's one thing that sets apart the winners and the losers, the people who succeed and the people who fail, the people who get to see their dreams come true, and the people who can only read about those successful people in magazines while lying on the couch doing nothing. So now, knowing that there is only one thing that you're missing between the version of you now and a better version of you, what would you think? Are you more willing to try making a new goal and stick to it? Are you going to actually make the change? Change is hard. I know. I have been a corporate consultant for almost 20 years. And if there's one thing that keeps companies failing their initiatives and their goals, it is change. Change management is probably the hardest thing and the most costly component to a growing company. And there are many companies, especially .coms, that are not able to make the change and transition into a successful company. Therefore, they close down. They fail. Think about MySpace. And if you're old like me, Excite. These were great companies for a while, but they weren't able to change. They weren't able to meet the changing market needs. All right, now let's get back to you. Why can't you just do what you said you would achieve? Why is this so hard? Why do you keep failing year after year? What is that one thing that is keeping you from making the leap? The answer is simple. Now go grab a mirror and take a good look into it. Yeah, that's right. It's you. You are your own worst enemy. You failed because you didn't want to change your habits. You stop yourself from getting better at life because you're too complacent. You're too comfortable with what you have now. You refuse to take risks because, well, you don't want to risk losing what you have now. And that's normal. Now, there's a TV commercial lately where the motto is, just okay is not okay. That's what you really should keep in mind. Your life is probably okay. Not great, but okay. And you have to constantly tell yourself that you may be okay now, but if you don't keep growing, if you don't change your ways, eventually you become not okay. You think that drinking is okay now because you don't feel any effect on your health, but give it another year or two. Eventually your bad habits catch up to you. Eventually you get sick because you drink too much, you smoke too much, you eat too much sugars and carbs and processed foods. Eventually your wife leaves you because you pay more attention to TV than to her. Eventually you go into so much debt that you can't get yourself out of the hole. We're all humans, so I understand how difficult it is to change. We all love instant gratification. As a young kid, putting that piece of candy into my mouth makes me smile, makes me happy. That's instant gratification. Of course, I didn't think about me ending up having my tooth decaying. I ended up having to put fillings into my teeth. That's long term, but at that moment, when I put the piece of candy into my mouth, I experienced that instant jolt of temporary satisfaction, which I thought made me happy. It's the same with alcohol, cigarettes, vaping, eating, or any kind of addiction. If you don't learn to control your instant gratifications, and if you don't tackle your weaknesses, you will never succeed. Your life will never change. Your health will not get any better. You will not make any more money. You will not have a good relationship with your spouse. Eventually, when life catches up to you, you will be sick, broken, lonely. I don't say all this because I am mean to you. I say this as advice to you. And I say this out of personal experience. I have been sick and broke, and our relationship hasn't always been good. And if we had not decided to change, if we had not wanted to make new goals that would get us out of the hole and get our health back, we would never be here talking to you. That even you have all the good intentions and you're all fired up and ready to go, here's what you will still need. It is in our experience, and also the experience of every Olympic gold athlete, every World Cup winner, every successful CEO, every successful actor and actresses, every successful musician, and well, you get the point. No matter what it is that you want to achieve, if you want to be successful at it, you need this. Why do some athletes win the Olympics while others kept failing? Why some sports teams keep winning the Super Bowl while others never get to touch it? Why do some CEOs get the money and the respect while others keep getting fired? Why do some actors and actresses score at the box office while others never make it? What drives these executives, these athletes, these actors and actresses and artists to success? Thing is, no matter how hard you try, how persistent you are, how much willpower you have, you're missing this one key ingredient. And that one key ingredient that's keeping you from all kind of success is a coach. A good coach. A coach that can work with you to achieve your ultimate life goals. You see, executives have executive coaches. Singers have voice coaches. Professional athletes have nutrition coaches, personal trainers, all types of different coaches. Sports teams have the greatest coaches they can find. The best actors have acting coaches. The best authors have writing coaches. There are all kinds of coaches because everybody needs help. Every profession, every person, no matter what your goal is, you need a coach. But how, you may ask, how would a coach help me? Well, for that, I'm going to keep this suspense until next week. But for now, take some time to yourself. Really look into the mirror and talk to yourself. Who are you? Who do you want to be? What do you want to have to do to achieve? Until next time, love what you live and live what you love.